Hi folks! Before we start today's video, I would just want to say one thing. I have created a Twitter account, so if you want to show up, send me a text, send me an idea, say something, follow me maybe, you're free to do it. Thank you very much. Now, I've decided to list a top 10 of Total Drama episodes because I'm bored and out of curiosity, no one actually has done it yet, which is kind of weird, huh? Maybe this will spiral into a top 10 worst episodes later down the line. But I have other plans for the future in this channel. I'm still gonna do Total Drama content, don't worry, but we'll see. So yeah, I have no idea where I'm going with this, so let's just start the video.
Also, don't forget to click that bell. I have no idea what it's for, but everyone says to do it, so hey, let's follow them. If they jump off a cliff, I would jump too. It's YouTube. For my number 10, I chose Get a Clue. The thing with the characters that made it past the merge in Total Drama Action is the fact that they all get along with each other in civil terms. They hang out together, they play, they have lunch, etc. In that aspect, Get a Clue sends a vibe of friend group between the remaining contestants. It's like they all were working as a team. The merge this season kinda reminded me of 16, conveyed perhaps by that scene at the moment they merged. And this is even felt better when you see how unthreatening Courtney is. A funny thing about Courtney is that she has to be the lamest villain on the history of this show. Not as lame as Mal. All she does is complain and eliminate people through very lame methods. So seeing her neglect Lindsay and then seeing Lindsay completely solve the mystery all on her own when her own best friend has turned her back on her is a beautiful thing to watch. I kinda get why Beth is not really a fan favorite. I voiced my feelings about reward challenges before, but this one actually ties in with the following episode in a nice way. So consistency and reinforcing Lindsay as a strong character are more than enough reasons to place this episode in my top 10. For my number 9, I chose Sucker Spunched. I don't think you've noticed this before, but I'm not a fan of Total Drama All-Stars. And in spite of the many complaints I have with this season, I have one episode I genuinely like. Okay, so Sucker Spunched, like most episodes of All-Stars, doesn't really connect well with the episodes it's trying to reference. It felt kinda bad combining these episodes together. Courtney didn't even have a fear on that wheel. And it's pretty clear that Zoe and Sierra weren't even afraid of anything legitimate. But overall, there is a lot of character development during this episode. I like this episode not just for the whole thing with Courtney and Gwen being friends again, that alone is a very strong reason, but add on to this the fact that Alejandro got closure with his brother and we have a very good episode of Total Drama that I can relate to. Shame that it's the only legitimately good one this season. Also, I don't think that anyone was sad to see Sierra going home after the crappy character degradation she had been going on for 7 whole episodes. For my number 8, I picked Walk Like an Egyptian Part 1. It's not always easy making a first episode and making it extremely binding. Season 1's first episode was mandatorily boring because of all the characters needing to be introduced. Total Drama Action was just a high school reunion where Owen had to be the star of the show again, but this one is interesting to its full extent. No matter how many times I've watched Total Drama World Tour in my life, whenever I see this episode I get so excited to watch this season all over again, even though I know all the lines by heart right now. And the writing on this episode was a nice foreshadowing for great things to come. I mean, Lindsay, I'm a goat! I'm such a good Tyler. How can one not be excited for a season like this? Also, I really thought that I wouldn't be seeing Duncan this season because I'm such a Duncan hater. I don't really care for part 2 the same way because the episode is just okay and doesn't give me the same anticipation vibe that I've felt with the previous episode. But I still get chills with that long note the Amazons do at the end of the challenge. Emily Claire Barlow, I love you. Overall, the very first episode paved the way for great things to come. For my number 7, I picked the Amazon Race. This episode is a very simple episode. It follows that weird trend that the writers of Total Drama have of pure belief in curses and karma and crap. What makes me like this episode so much is Team Victory. DJ had a lot of struggles through and through, but thanks to Lindsay's support and leadership, they managed to get back up no matter the adversity and win for the first time this season. And this genuine friendship is definitely something I wish that we could have gotten to witness further down the line. I'm still not sure whether or not I like the whole thing with Team Amazon voting off Heather and their promise of revenge, because it seems like the only thing that happened was that Sierra was voted off. It's the only thing that is mentioned from this episode. We never see the seed of doubt that Alejandro planted on Owen. We never see Heather getting revenge on her team. We don't ever see anything. But overall, this was a good episode. For my number 6, I picked Dodge Brawl. Coming into this episode for the first time, I think it's pretty evident that no matter what was going on, the Grips would win the challenge. I also like to think that this episode had more than just one hero. There is Harold for catching the last ball, there is Duncan that kept the team alive after all that happened, there is Courtney that supported her team fully and tried to play the game by the rules in spite of her team being full of incompetent people, there is Cody that was named an easy out and even won for his team. But the simplistic action in this episode is what keeps me coming back after all these years. And that enigmatic last game makes me wonder many things. Why didn't the Grips use the same strategy in the final game? Why are they changing partners? How can a rubber ball conduct electric— oh wait, this wasn't the first game. Crap, Rui, can't you write a script? What are we supposed to look at this scene? The fact that Owen wasn't playing or the fact that Easy wasn't playing? These kinds of questions give this episode a lot of replayability, hence why I love it. For my number 5, I picked Hout Capture. I think I said it right. I know, this choice will resonate with some people, but instead of looking at this episode from the perspective of oh my god, Lashana was eliminated unfairly in this episode, let's look at it from a different way. Hout Capture, am I saying it right? Felt like a nice break from all the drama that we've been seeing for 21 episodes. Seeing the eliminated contestants just relaxing feels like a nice change of pace. Although the episode can be seen as one of those episodes that just input used footage into a 22-minute episode like it did a lot in the 90s with The Simpsons, it never stops being entertaining. There are some plot holes like Courtney not seeing Harold after he was eliminated. Ha! Got here before you, Super Flipper 76. And although I'm not defending the way the episode ends, we cannot overlook the way that this episode made us die inside. When you look at the way that Lashana was so beloved by everyone, both in the show and within the audience, it's very clear that the writers had a tough time coming up with a way to eliminate her. So they thought, let's just eliminate her this way, to assert that nothing in this show is certain. It's a bullshitty tactic, but it's so bad that it's good. Which raises a question, would you rather see Lashana be eliminated this way, or go through a roller coaster of character plot twists during her whole screen time for a season only for her not to be a winner? Yeah, let that sink in. But overall, I like this episode. I don't care what you guys think. Shut up, my video. For my number 4, I picked the last 3 episodes of Total Drama World Tour. Picking a favorite episode out of these 3, it's like picking your favorite cousin. It's impossible for you because you have to love him so much, or else your mom will yell at you and your aunt won't give you a birthday present. But in all seriousness though, these 3 episodes are such a key part of Total Drama World Tour. The Aftermath, which isn't even labeled as Aftermath, was a very entertaining title with connections to the finale. All the characters are just chilling in Hawaii, reminiscing of Hout Capture. Seriously, am I saying it right? This is essentially that episode done right. As for planes, trains, and hot air mobiles, it had the most interesting challenge of all time. It's unrealistic, sure, but it was so fun to see the way that they were all keeping up with each other. It was a nail-biter from the first second to the last. As for Hawaiian Punch, it was the best finale ever. The perfect end to the best season. I voiced my opinions on this episode when I reviewed this season, so be sure to check it out. For my number 3, I picked Bjorken Telephone. I was hesitant to add any Redonkulous race episodes, but it had to be done. This whole show was made with such cultural care, and honestly, this episode is a great example of such. Iceland is a country I really want to visit, and learning about geysers, traditional food, and ice caves in this way was really interesting. All the characters get their screen time and deal with their own personality flaws at some point during this episode. which isn't really something we get to see in Total Drama aside from the first episodes. The concept of the challenge is very interesting too. Either ors are my favorite game variant of this show, and it's sad that they were so rare. In any case, this episode just has one sin worth mentioning. The fact that they called a platter of food a Thanksgiving feast. Thanksgiving is not a holiday celebrated in Iceland. Dear God. For my number 2, I pick If You Can't Take the Heat. I can't help it. Ever since I was a kid, I love it when cartoons cook and eat. Aside from YouTube, cooking and baking is something I adore doing in my free time, which I had a lot lately. I can't help it. Show me a cartoon that involves cooking and I will love it. Not those ones that have that as a main topic, but those that cook on the side, like The Simpsons or the Powerpuff Girls, or even Cardcaptor Sakura. For that reason, If You Can't Take the Heat is an episode I really appreciate. The whole process of watching both meals being built gives me hard eyes emoji syndrome. But that is not all that makes me love this episode. The drama within the Screaming Gophers was really lit. It felt so entertaining to see Heather's cutthroat vibe in action. She wanted to help her team win at all costs. Sure, her methods weren't the best, and watching her get stuck on the freezer feels so rewarding. But when you look at the meal she had planned, you can see she had some knowledge. I mean, the group served pasta as a main dish. Pasta should be an appetizer, not an entree. Heather wanted to serve ribs, a much more wholesome dish. In the end, I could take or leave Beth being eliminated. I mean, so much character development was placed onto her in the previous episode, only for her to be afraid of Heather once again. At least we had season 2. My god, I'm talking a lot about Beth in this video. And why didn't anyone point the finger at Owen for eating the main course? I mean, we can blame the curse, sure, but he should control himself too. Now, with these reasons, you would think that Eat Puke can be Worry? I'll go with Worry. Would be an episode I would enjoy. But you are wrong. The episode is okay, but the cooking portion of the episode was a bit of too fantasy-like for me. The whole season of revenge is really. It just had a curtain of toxic waste cloaking it. If You Can't Take the Heat feels more real to me in the cooking department. Eat Puke can be Worry did a fine job, however, of establishing Lightning's motifs to become a villain all of a sudden, which gives us a glance of why Total Drama Revenge of the Island is a good season. It's a short season, but it flows naturally from point A to point B with almost no loose ends. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, If You Can't Take the Heat, second best episode for me. And my number 1 favorite episode is I Triple Dog Dare You. I've said that this episode is disgusting, I know. But the way that they managed to cover up the disgusting things is what gives this episode charm. There is Chris and Chef's Pets, Owen's love for pancakes, Heather and Gwen going at each other. Thanks to all of this, we tend to overlook the fact that at some point in the show, Heather licked Owen's armpit. In a kids show! To me, this episode perfectly embodies the comedy of this show and the barriers it tried to break that were present at this time. Children's cartoons used to have guns being pointed at their faces and get their beaks blown off their heads. The comedy was bolder and people weren't as offended. Total Drama tried to take these risks at a time where they weren't seen. They kept it within limits, like, we are not gonna give Easy a gun, we are gonna give her a tranquilizer gun. But a gun no less. How often do you see a cartoon showing nudity, censored of course, or having someone fart on your face that isn't PG-13? I Triple Dog Dare You is in my opinion the most loyal episode to Total Drama. And while you might think that the writers have some very weird tendencies, I like to see it as a way of showcasing the courage of the writers and exploiting the system to bring a just barely politically correct cartoon. Either that or they are Canadian. Bye. Sorry. Other than that, I am a big defender that karma is a thing. You can only step on people for so long, and Heather's comeuppance was a very satisfying one to watch. People usually say that Lindsay deserves to win a season, and I am one of those people. But the way that Lindsay indirectly got revenge on Heather is just so wholesome. Seriously, the way that Heather believes like, I'm going to catch a break when the wheel lands on Lindsay. The way Chris announces the challenge she has to make, ooh, you're not going to like this. The way that Gwen and Owen feel no remorse for her, The way that Heather refuses to do the challenge and still had her head shaved because of an unfortunate accident, Lindsay got revenge without saying a word directly. I swear, this episode is just so good. It's not easy thinking of which Total Drama episode is the best, but I do believe this is one of the best written. Every action of Heather as this episode came back to bite her. To think that the very first challenge she refused to do because she would get her hair wet, and then she left Total Drama with zero hair. Well, she had hair, but... And for these reasons, I do believe that I Triple Dog Dare You is the best Total Drama episode of Total Drama. That about wraps it up. There is still so many good episodes out there. None from Pakitell Island for obvious reasons, you know, like